I'm not here to hype the newest, must-have piece of furniture. I'm here to walk you through what it really feels like to bring a full-size billiard table into a home setting, and help you decide if the Playcraft Stella 8-foot slate table is worth the space, time, and money for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you're standing in a game room or a converted den, the biggest hesitation most buyers have is whether they're committing to a piece that will sit awkwardly, demand a professional crew, or turn into a money sink when it finally shows wear. That's the angle I want to explore: real-world fit, daily usability, and the hidden trade-offs that often get glossed over in glossy catalog photos. First off, the Stella is a contemporary-looking table that leans heavily on a three-piece slate playing surface. Slate is the gold standard for cue sports because it stays flat over time, but a three-piece design means the surface is assembled from three separate slabs rather than a single monolith. In practice, this translates to a very stable playing field as long as the installation is done correctly, but it also introduces a layer of complexity you won't see with a pre-assembled laminate table. The manufacturer recommends professional installation, and that's not just marketing speak. The weight of the slate each piece can be close to 150 pounds, means you're essentially moving a small piece of furniture that needs to be level to within a few millimeters. If your floor isn't perfectly even, the installer will have to shim the legs or the slate itself, which adds both cost and time to the setup. Speaking of cost, the Stella sits in the mid to high range for home tables. You're paying for solid hardwood rails, a genuine slate playing surface, and a choice of 25 cloth colors, which is a nice way to personalize the table to match a modern office or a sleek game room. The price point is justified when you think about the longevity of slate compared with cheaper MDF alternatives that can warp after a few seasons of use. The 5-year warranty against manufacturing defects adds a safety net, but remember that it won't cover damage from improper installation or from moving the table after it's set. Now, who should actually consider this table? If you're a serious hobbyist who already owns a set of cues and enjoys weekly matches with friends or family, the Stella gives you a professional feel without the full-blown commercial price tag. It also works for people who want a multi-purpose room, say, a home office that doubles as a leisure space. The 8-foot size fits a standard 16 by 32-foot room with a little breathing room for cue clearance. You'll need at least 4 to 5 feet of free space behind each rail to swing a cue comfortably. That's a key practical point because many buyers underestimate the required clearance and end up feeling cramped, which ruins the experience. On the flip side, if you're just looking for a casual, occasional game, or you have a small apartment where the table would dominate the floor plan, this is probably overkill. A compact 7-foot, or even a bar-top model would serve the same social purpose without demanding a major rearrangement of furniture. Also, if you're not prepared to budget for professional installation, most installers charge a few $100s for leveling, anchoring, and hooking up the rails, then the total outlay can jump well beyond the sticker price. The Stella isn't a DIY-only project. You'll need at least 2 strong helpers just to get the slate onto the frame, and even then you risk misalignment. Let's talk about daily usability. After the table is installed, you'll notice the smoothness of the slate right away. The cloth comes in a range of colors, from classic green to deep navy, and the texture is similar to what you'd find in a bar. The choice of cloth can affect ball speed. Lighter colors tend to be a touch faster because the dye process can make the weave a bit tighter, but the difference is subtle and mainly noticeable to seasoned players. The solid hardwood rails feel sturdy, and the cushions have a nice, responsive pop when you strike the balls, giving you that professional bounce you'd expect on a competition table. One practical weakness that shows up after a few months of use is the maintenance of the slate cloth interface. Because the slate is heavy, the table can be sensitive to humidity changes. In a dry climate, the wood frame may contract slightly, leading to a tiny gap between the slate and the rails over time. This isn't a catastrophic problem, it just means you might need to check the alignment once a year and tighten any loose bolts. The warranty won't cover that kind of wear, but it's a relatively low-effort fix if you have basic tools. Another nuance is the lighting. The Stella's sleek silhouette looks great under ambient lighting, but to play at a decent level you'll want dedicated cue lighting, ideally a pair of adjustable lamps that sit at the head of the table. The